All right, welcome back, guys. Let's go ahead and continue the process of allowing the admin to add new products. Here, we're going to start off with adding a route to the server. And recall from the previous video, we left off over here, making that Axios request to the backend. So this is the route that Axios is trying to hit, API product, and that's what we're going to do. That's the path we're going to have to set up over here in the server side. So let's head over to the server side. All right, so arriving to the server side, let's go ahead and copy this here, and below it, make some changes here. Instead of category, it's going to be product, because that's what Axios is looking for, and changes from category routes to product routes. All right, and again over here, copy this, and below paste, make some changes, product routes, and we're going to create a file inside the routes called product. Okay, so now inside our routes folder, right over here, create a new file and call it product.js. Okay, so here add route to the server. Okay, we took care of that. We're gonna set up the router. Okay, over here in the routes. So first thing we're gonna do is bring in Express. Okay, and set up a router with the router method of Express, and then make sure towards the end export it, module exports, do module.exports router. All right, so now let's create our first route. Our first route is going to be a post request. So we're going to do router.post / and then the following arguments are, we're going to set up our middleware. So the first middleware we need is, we need to ensure that the user, or in this case is going to be an admin, that the admin is logged in and he is authenticated. And we have a middleware we set up in the other videos, and it's if we look inside our middleware here, it's called Authenticate JWT. Okay, so that's the one we want to bring in. So let's go ahead and import that. Require, go inside, let's say go back one directory, go middleware, and then authenticator. And we want Authenticate JWT. All right, so that's going to be second argument, that's middleware. And then we're going to have another middleware, a second one that we're going to have to create. And this middleware is going to deal with the image that's going to be coming from the front end. Okay, it's called Multer. Multer, it's managed by Express, and I'm going to go to Google, check the documentation for Multer. If you look here, you see the weekly downloads is well over over 1 million downloads. That's a good sign. And also the fact that I also like that it's managed over here. If you look here, it's managed by Express. So it gives me great comfort and confidence that we should use this middleware. So it's called Multer, and again, it helps us. It's going to help us use upload an image. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so where we set up the router, the basic setup for the router, we added our middleware, Authenticate JWT middleware, and now this is where we're at, installing Multer. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this package. So I'm going to open up another window. Don't worry about this error right now, it's going to go away. Okay, so right now let's go ahead and do npm install Multer. Okay, so let that install into your system. Hopefully in my case it's not going to take a while, it's not going to take a long time. Okay, fingers crossed. All right, let's see. All right, let's see, 3 vulnerabilities, and thankfully it gives us some device here. It says run this here, npm audit fix to resolve this. Great, fixed all vulnerabilities. All right, good. All right, so now we have Multer installed. So let's go ahead and mark this off here. Create the Multer middleware. Okay, so we want to create the Multer middleware. So let's go ahead over here for middleware, create a file within that middleware folder and call it multer.js. Okay, let me create some room here. I'm gonna close up this admin dashboard component window. Okay, good. And let me, yeah, also this one here, create the API, create product. So we got everything here. All right. So the first thing I want to do here is go back to the documentation for Multer and get some help here. A big part of programming, as many of you guys already know, is being able to navigate around Google, and when you're searching for some, and to look through the documentation. So long as the documentation is good, and in this example here, it gives us it's great documentation, and it could navigate us in the right direction. So here what I'm going to be using is for Multer is something called disk storage, and it's saying the disk storage engine gives you full control on storing files to the disk. So what I can do is I can go ahead and copy this, go back to the Multer file, which I'm using as the middleware, and bring that in. And I'm just going to make some adjustments here, but before anything I got to import that. So I'm going to do Multer require Multer. All right, so now that I imported this Multer inside this file, let's see, so in Multer disk storage, and then the first property inside this disk storage, the object is destination. So this is, we can tell Multer exactly the name of the file that we want to store, or we want our images to be stored in. In this example, I'm not going to use this here that it has by default. I'm going to have uploads as the folder that I want all my images to be stored in my file system. And let's see, since we have this, I know I want a folder called uploads. Let me go ahead and take care of that right now. I'm going to create another window here to the side, and I'm going to do inside your root directory for the project, do make dir uploads. Okay, close that terminal window up. And then if you look here to the side, right here, I have uploads now. So create that folder here. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so destination is the name where we want the images to be stored. And then the file name is what we want Multer to name our files that are uploaded on the front end, from the front end. So here, we're gonna make some changes here. You see, in the Multer example, it said the field name, and then it appends a and then it also has the date at the end. Okay, I'm gonna remove this here, and I'm gonna do with backticks. I'm gonna say it's like this. Do date dot now, and then after closing curly braces, I'm gonna do dot JPEG. Okay, because I want this to be only I want this to be a JPEG. All right. Okay, so that's that. And then towards the end, Multer storage. So it's bringing. We can, since these are the same key value, the key and value are the same name, we can just remove one of these, just say storage, just like that. Right, just like that. And then finally, I'm gonna export this module exports, module.exports upload. All right, this is gonna allow us to make use of this upload middleware inside the folder that we're gonna make use of it. All right, so now this is the middleware. We have it ready. So create the Multer middleware, and we created the uploads folder. Yes. And then let's see, going back here. Yes, we're gonna have to bring in this Multer right here and do upload. Yeah. Let me see something. Upload. Okay, upload, and then the require. Let's see. We have to go back one directory, go into middleware, and then go the Multer folder. Then now, right after our authenticate JWT middleware, we're gonna add our second middleware, and it's the upload. And Multer has a method called single, because we're going to be uploading a single image only. And then within here, as an argument, we need to provide the name, the input field that image is assigned to. So let me explain better. So here, if we look at Multer, the documentation, remember that the form that we have in our component, we have a form just like this, right? And then we have our input field with a type file, and then we have this name attribute here that's called name. And then that name, in this case, this example, they have avatar here. Okay, so the input has a name with avatar. So as you can see here in the back end, it has upload single, and then it provided that same name, avatar. So make sure that this name matches with the name attribute of your input field for that file. So in our case, because I honestly can't recall, but I'm going to go back to that component. Let's see, component admin dashboard, and go down to that input field to see what name I gave it. Okay, it was in show food modal. All right, so here we go. All right, so right here you see I have my input field, type file, and then I have name of product image. So this is product image is what I need to copy and have inside here as an argument, product image, because that's what Multer is going to seek to identify the image that you're trying to upload. All right, so now that we have that taken care of, we have our two middlewares, and then the router requires our final argument, which is we're gonna have our controller. And this, let me make sure I have marked down everything. Okay, so this is where we're at right here, is creating the product controller create. Okay, so here, the product is gonna be a controller, product controller, and then I'm gonna have a method called create, just like this. So for the controller, instead of controller, create a new file and call it product.js. Inside product.js, we're going to do export create and then async with the request response, because this is the controller. It will have the request and response. And I want to console log. Let's see. I'm going to do request body, request body, and then I'm going to copy this here 2 more times, and then the second one is going to be request file. This file is going to be from Multer. Multer attaches an object called file onto the request object. And then the final one is the request file, body file, and then user, because the authenticate JW2 middleware that we created a while back, we attached the user that's logged in onto the request object as well. So let's check for that, request user. And then finally, I want to do a response. I want to send back something to the client, response JSON, and I want to send back a message, say inside product controller. Okay. Okay, so that should be it for now, but I have to bring that in here instead of route. Okay, I have to bring that in. I have to say const product controller require from let's see, we gotta go back one directory, go into the controllers, and then product, just like this. Okay, so everything should be working now. So now let's go ahead and test this thing out. All right, so let me also remove this here because this was only for testing in the previous video. Let me go ahead and admin dashboard. It should be at the very bottom right here, the JSON stringify product data. You just go ahead and remove that, save, go back, and it's gone. Good. All right, here. All right, so let's test this thing out. So the first one, we're gonna upload an image. All right, this one right here, JPEG, upload, okay, and do fettuccine, and say a taste of Italy, and then the price, let's do $12. $12. Category is part of the process category, and the quantity for the stock, I don't know, let's say 900. All right, so now it's the moment of truth. I'm going to submit this and make sure. All right, give me a second here. All right, so I'm going to submit this. And if I look here to my product, I get a 200, and look at what I get as a response. Well, the headers, let me bring this up. All right, so the status 200. Okay, let's see. All right, so here at the very bottom, we see the form data. This is all the data that we sent over, right? And then product image is binary data. All right, and if we look at the response that we're getting back from the server is that message that we set up earlier, right? The message inside product controller. So that's showing us that the server did send something back to us, which is this is exactly what we wanted. So that's good. And then finally, let's go to the console on the back end. Okay, what happened here? Let's see here. All right, let me try this again. Let me see something here. All right. All right, so let me go ahead and client admin dashboard. Okay, over here, handle cancel error. Server response. Console response. Status. Everything was okay. Okay. Q. All right, let's try this one more time. Let's try this again. All right, let's go ahead and add a new. All right. Let's go add a new. Let's add a file again. All right, open this, fettuccine, description, the price, 12, the file, pastas, quantity, 5. If we submit, okay, there we go. All right, there you go, guys. All right, so here, remember, these are the 3 things that I console log that I wanted to console log onto the backend, right? The body, the file, and the user. So here, looking at the body, you see the body contains all that input field, all that input data that from the front end or the form, okay? And then the file, this is all the data that's coming as a result of our Multer package that we are making use of. It gives us information about that specific file. The MIME type, the destination, which is uploads. And as a matter of fact, if we go here to the side, let me collapse some of these files here. Look over here. So our uploads folder, you see, we have some files here. Okay, some images. There you go. And there's our image. So now our file system has a folder called uploads with the images that are uploaded from the front end. All right. So there you go. And it even gives us size. And then here, the request user, that is the user that is logged in. In this case, it's the administrator in his ID here. All right. So that is it. We still need to complete this, but we're almost done. We are at the controller of the creating, or here, right? The controller for the creating a product. So we just have to create some logic here, or finish this portion here. And yeah, so we'll continue on the next video, and I'll see you then.